one is Professor Dr. Tutut Herawan, and the third one is Bapak Ahmad Zaki Arifin from Indonesia Infrastructure Guarantee Funds. Yeah. Before we starting our discussion, yeah, I will invite Professor Dr. Koni Susilowati. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Koni.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, okay, Prof. Koni, good afternoon in Indonesia, yeah, but in Queensland, I don't know, maybe evening, yeah?
No, it's still afternoon. We are at 4 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. Prof. Koni, before you present the paper, I would like to introduce your curriculum vitae first to our audience in this room. Professor Dr. Koni Susilowati, she was born in Surabaya. So Prof. Koni, this is originally from Surabaya. Japanese people also, yeah. And today, Prof. Koni Susilowati work in University of Queensland, yeah, Queensland University of Technology, starting on, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, 2009 until now, after she finished his PhD, and her expertise on sustainable urban development, affordable housing, sustainable property and infrastructure, multi-stakeholder partnership, international issue related to real estate, education, property and infrastructure delivery management. Her index of Prof. Koni is 10, and she have many activity in the publication and also in the writing books. Before we continue to her presentation, I would like also to give the information regarding the time, Prof. Koni. Your time will be 20 until 25 minutes. After that, we continue to question and answer, special for presentation from Dr. Koni. Please welcome Dr. Prof. Koni to deliver your presentation.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure whether somebody will share my screen of my slides or what is the plan.
Okay, maybe Prof. Koni can share your screen, or our team will be try to help you to share the presentation.
Thank you. So I can see my presentation in the screen. I hope you can see it too. So thank you for the opportunity to talk in this well, so-called international conference. The title of my presentation, I put R in bracket because it's supposed to be something either is very fast, like revolution, or is actually very slow, like evolution. And I will discuss about sustainability, ESG, and green finance. And this is really something that dearly in my heart, especially sustainability and sustainable development. So thank you for this opportunity. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is in Australia. We have the tradition that before we start, especially presentation, we want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land. So KUT acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara is the First Nation owners of the land where KUT now stand. We pay respect of their elders, laws, customs, and creation spirits. We recognize that these lands have always been places for teaching, research, and learning. So KUT acknowledged the important role of Aborigine and Torres Strait Islander people play within the community. And I'm not quite sure whether any Indigenous people from Australia listening to this recording, or I pay respect for you as well. So next, please. So I put the two institutions there because currently I'm holding a professor at KUT, which is Queensland University of Technology in Brisbane, Australia. But I also adjunct professor for University of Brawijaya as well. And I have my email address at the bottom of this slides. So if you want to contact me to get clarification or ask any question or potential collaboration, please let me know. But I just want to continue with the introduction that I definitely was born in Indonesia, which is I'm so proud to be called Arek Surabaya. So it's that's where I born, like my heritage, and all my family still live in Indonesia and mainly in Surabaya. So it's really interesting when I talk to Indigenous people that when they introduce themselves, they always start where you are born rather than who you are, where you work, and so forth, and the community and how important family for them. So that's what I'm going to start with. And I also want to acknowledge that some of this creation of this presentation I'm using when I'm using tools like using by design tool by PowerPoints or any embedded AI putting in the tools, and so I want to acknowledge that this is my work, but it's also been supported by software tools and AI. Next, please. So as a brief outlines of my presentation, as I mentioned, I'm having the sustainability and sustainable development, ESG, and green finance as the last points in my presentation. Next, please. So when I search about when the sustainability terms or principle is actually originally used, I always think that sustainability, especially in the relation of sustainable development, I always thinking 1987 is a very major milestone for sustainable development. Brundtland reports, which is define what is sustainable development is. But when I do research, actually it started in 1798 when Malthusian theory warns about the resource scarcity and so on. So I just want to acknowledge that sustainability not start in 1987, but is 200 years before that. Next, please. So this is the in the report, but it's also something that we know about sustainable development. There are the definition of sustainability is when we want to meet our current needs without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs by using resources responsibly and living in balance with the environment. So there are component of environment, which is very strong. I put it in a green, but it's also talking about other people, future generations, or there is an aspect of social aspect. But the top of the triple bottom line, in my view, is actually the economic bottom line, especially in the earliest state of adoption of sustainable development. If it doesn't meet the economic bottom line, forget about it, because that is the starting point when we need to pursue whether it's continue or not continue any project. Sustainable development will need to meet the economic bottom line first. So that's a little bit of history of it. If you looking at some of the texts, including from a famous like Harvard and others, they are using triple bottom line with profit to represent economics, people to represent social, and planet to represent environmental. We are doing it if it is won't hurt our profit. That's just a lot of when I did a research in this area, a lot of quotes that's related to profits. But some of them also doing it for corporate social responsibility. We doing it because we are a good company. We are corporate social responsibility part of it. But it's why it's so hard to implement this, because it's required resources, required money, but also required skills and capabilities. But it's definitely required leadership, and that's make sustainable development moving really slowly in the implementation. Can we go to the next slide, please? So to continue with this, I put a comment here, very slow implementation and adoption. And we talk about sustainability or sustainable development in the form of sustainable home, sustainable buildings like office building, something like that. But it's really slow adoption. So the reason behind it, because people have a perception. If you want to make sustainable, it's required additional money upfront. And that make it everyone say, well, I don't have that money upfront. Maybe I do it later. In fact, if you're doing it later, most of the time it will cost more. And the problem with that, it's become, oh, it costs a lot to do it. I don't have that spare money, and then I might do it later. So it's kind of like people pushing the timeline and the implementation and adoption quite it's not the main business. So I wrote an article also comparing between affordable housing and sustainable housing. How can we make sustainable housing but also still affordable? The answer is very, very difficult unless there is a government support or incentives from the government. Then it may be possible to make it happen. So I just want to give an example in Australian context, especially in and also in Queensland. The high adoption of features on the sustainable housing, like the solar panel, solar hot water, the water tank, those have a high rate of adoption because government provide a rebate, provide a subsidy to make it happen. I can't remember exactly the time, but it's about 15 years ago that the government giving a rebate when you buy an appliance that has a very good energy efficient rating, like washing machine and others. You will get government help, support, and rebate because of this purchase. So make people, when they want to buy, they have to choose. If you buy the not good quality, you will not get government support. So it's, a lot of people actually take advantage of that support and buy a good quality appliance, which is energy efficient appliance. The other one, which is a very controversial in Queensland and in Australia, but especially in Queensland, is insulation. In Queensland is maybe comparing to Surabaya, it's similar, like we are hot. The only difference, we are very dry in here, not humid like in Surabaya, but we kind of we don't have any winter snow. Our winter is really mild, so it's really similar to Surabaya, and hot maybe is the main enemy. So to reduce that heat, the putting an insulation on the roof, it's really make a big difference. So that's what happened after the appliance. So that's another government support. So a lot of houses actually take advantage of that. And the next one is about solar, and more recently solar and battery. So a solar panel, because we have Queensland is the we call it sunshine state. We have a lot of sunshine, so we can produce a lot of electricity from the solar panel that we put on our roof. So the household normally is a consumer for the electricity. Now they are prosumer. They are produce, but it's also consumed. So that's shifting a little bit. So the other last point there I want to tell is about all of those is voluntary. So no one forced us to put a solar panel, insulation, good appliance. That's not, it's voluntary, it's not mandatory. So not everyone doing it, but the government incentive is really help. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the other movement in the sustainable development is, I mentioned about government incentive, subsidy, rebates already. So there is people in the sustainable development research mention unless the norm is shift that all building has to be sustainable, and only the one that is not sustainable will get some penalty. So if it is, we call it a sick building, and this is maybe we can move on like quicker. Now I mentioned about a lot of not mandatory. So now in Australia, they start putting some of this energy efficiency, not the whole sustainable development principle, but an energy efficiency component of the house into a building codes. And then there is a requirement that you to disclose what do you have before you sell or rent in the near future. And for commercial building, they have to do mandatory disclosure under neighbors. So that's because it's required, people have to do it, it will happen. And this is under energy efficiency mainly. Next, please. So there are, I'm not going to discuss in all details, but there are some examples of projects in Australia about the sustainable development project. Can we go to the next slide, please? And this is some of the example I found from the internet about sustainable development in Indonesia, and that we actually try to use solar plants, like reduce emission with transportation, Semarang waste to energy, smart cities, just energy transition partnership. This is a very great examples, but I'm not. The question is, are they only uh, a champion or only an example? Are we going to see more of it? So the problem in Australia is a lot of the people who doing it in the beginning, like as a champion or the early adopters, they are great, but to move to the mainstream is not easy. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the discussion and the talk move now from shifting from sustainability to ESG, which is there's definition in the slide. So the purpose is to evaluate corporate sustainability and risks. So this become something that we currently a flavored discussion. We no longer discussion about sustainability, but we talk about ESG a lot. Can we go to the ESG milestone slide next? Thank you. So in the future, like as you can see that mandatory ESG disclosure in EU, US, and Asia Pacific definitely will make a big difference. Australia hasn't mandated yet, but it will be in the future. And this only make it, everyone will do it. If it is not compulsory, there's a very good chance that nobody doing it or very few doing it. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I know I spend a lot of time in the sustainable development. I don't spend too much time in the ESG because it's talking about something similar, slightly different in terms of the implementation, but it's like at the moment, it's just in a lot of talking point. Some is actually starting to review and looking at how we can implement them. But there is another section that I want to discuss today. It's about green finance. This is a very big potential when the financial instrument or institution invests to support the environmental sustainability, like green bonds, renewable energy funding, carbon markets. When there is a push from the financial institution, mandatory disclosure from the government, this make all the efforts become accelerate. It's become really faster to be adopted. So the goal of this green finance to mobilize capital for climate resilience and low carbon project. Next, please. So what are the trends in this area? So there is innovation, green innovation and technology, policy frameworks and green credit guidelines, integration with CSR, which is, I already mentioned, corporate social responsibility, and ESG that we talked about before. So this and the instrument we already discussed. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide. So I want to compare or doing a little bit of comparison between ESG and green finance. So the comparison related to the focus, as we know, the focus of ESG is environmental, social, and governance. Green finance, by the name of it, primarily is talking about environmental. So it's going down from sustainable development or triple bottom line. We got environmental, social, economic. The economic is not really become an emphasis for ESG any longer because you know, as I said, economic is the bottom line. They won't do it if it's not economically viable. So the one that lacking is environmental and social and governance. Then moving on, again, social responsibility under CSR. a lot of company moving on because of that social responsibility. But environmental may be the last thing they will do. So that's why the push from the green finance can accelerate this, make it happen faster. And the scope, obviously, finance is project financing and the ESG in the corporate evaluation and reporting. So before people want to buy or want to invest in a company, they want to know whether the company is actually, have that ESG rating and so forth. So there is a disclosure, there is indices. For the tools on this ESG for green finance is bonds, loans, investment fund. There are some overlap. ESG company, compliant firms attract green capital. So green project evaluates via ESG metrics. So the two has complementary or overlap. Can I go to the next slide, please? So how we integrate the integration and the impact I want to bring home what we discussed so far. The first one, sustainability is the overarching goals, and then ESG is a framework for assessing sustainability risk and performance. Green finance is mechanism to fund the sustainable transformation, obviously with the emphasis of environmental responsibility. Together, they drive responsible investment and policy alignment. So the sustainability has a main focus, or the first focus is the economic, ESG, social, green finance, environment. So altogether, we'll cover the triple bottom line. Main issues, the problem with anything, everyone says that everyone responsibilities to make it happen. Sustainable development, everyone is responsible, but is everyone responsibilities, but no one is actually responsible. So that's the key issues. So the next is my final slide. Thank you. So what is the future outlook of this area? We need standardization of global ESG reporting frameworks, some innovation in AI, blockchain, and fintech in the green finance. The policy, stronger regulatory mandates and incentives is required. I mentioned before, if it is mandatory or government giving an incentive, then people will do it. The impact, measurable progress towards climate and social goals. So the next slide. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, I return the floor to the moderator or the facilitator. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof. Connie, for insightful perspective here regarding the green finance, ESG, and sustainability. Now we continue to the question and answer from the audience in this room. If you have any question, please raise hand, and I give 2 or 3 questions. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the first and the second. Still any student want to give question to Prof. Connie? Okay, the second one. One more from the Miss Desi. Miss Desi must be give the question, yeah, the last question. Okay, please introduce your name and come from program studi.
Okay, thank you. Now my name is Faiz Audadi, and thank you. I'm from EKP or Economic finance and banking. And my question is about how we know that a company is really doing the ESG and not just greenwashing. Or maybe you have any metrics to know to know who is the company that actually doing ESG very well. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, can you replace your question, please, loudly? Maybe Prof. Koni not here.
Okay, my question is how we know that the company is actually doing ESG is how we know that a company is doing ESG very well and not only just greenwashing. Maybe you have any metrics to know that gitu. Thank you.
Okay, Prof. Koni, you can hear the question from audience in this room. Okay, continue to the second question. Okay.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Bina from Pakistan. Before in the slide, there is one trade-off that mentioned about affordable versus sustainable housing. From the article that is mentioned from Dr. Kani, that said it's very difficult to achieve that too, unless there are some incentive from government. But we know that sustainable housing here have a definition, has some solar and wind electricity or something like that, which is shown in the illustration before. But here in Indonesia, even for the affordable housing, it's still difficult for the citizens. So our government can only give incentives so the citizen can get an affordable housing. Even for the sustainable development in Indonesia, here is shown for the macro economy or like experiment in some cities. I want to ask, is there any potential for Indonesia to get their citizen sustainable and affordable housing in the near future? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bina, for the question. The last, Miss Desi. Over there. Hello? Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the time, Professor. I want to ask a question about the green finance itself. It's about related with the ESG. My question is, if for the big company, maybe is it a must or not? Maybe. But if for small company, do we have to focus to this finance or not? Because if big company, of course, they have the budget or for the finance, but if for the small company, need more explanation from Professor about this.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, this is the last question, Prof. Koni, from our audience in this room. The first question is about how we know about the company is already conducted, about the ESG and also the green finance, how we know. And the second one from Bina is about the affordability and sustainability of housing. Since Indonesia today have
mentioned before is about index. So for the purpose of saving the time, that's what I'm going to say for the first question. Please follow up if you I haven't answered your question. For the question two, it's really interesting because you can imagine that even Australia, we still have an issue with trying to convert or try to make all like our current or existing housing to become more sustainable. So we're not like really like I understand the question, but I just want to share that if you think in like impossible in Indonesia, it's also really difficult. in Australia. Currently, it's not just because it's not all about the money. It's just the priority and whether people willing to spend and people will see what is the benefit after you put an investment. If you're not getting a benefit, they will say, I don't forget about it. The other things that is not directly related, but I just want to let you know the comparison between Australian like sort of home ownership kind of what do you call it behavior. So a majority of people here, they will move to different house after 7 years. So whether they own or rent, they live in the same house probably around 7 years, like officially for owning. So if you can compare with Indonesia, I think the investment, if people willing to invest, they can invest even in a longer period of time. When I did a research in Indonesia recently, especially in low economic society where they have also suffered with the flood problems, majority of the people live in the same house or the is like more than 6 years definitely, but is some of them is probably have three generation already live in the same house. So they have their grandparents and still living there with the parents and then the children as well. So three generation living in the same house, and the house has been there for a very long time. Why I mentioned that is just to give the comparison. If we want to compare to invest in any housing in here, people will think if I invest now and I will move in the next 3 years or next year I will move different house, I won't experience. I won't what do you call it? I won't experience the benefit of my investment. So they're thinking about why I put my money, invest that. So that's one thing that why it's very slow in here in Australia. But in terms of I understand because when I start my research, I'm more towards affordable housing. So it's people need if they if it's not afford, they won't do anything else apart from the minimum. So making it affordable is very important. So when I did the research, what happened is I research or compare with the affordable housing provider, and they actually chip in or putting some sustainable features in the affordable housing because at that time the government provide an incentives. So they create additional value for that affordable housing, but it happened because the government actually provides subsidy for the everyone at that point. So they can provide addition, like make it happen to the affordable housing. But if the subsidy dry up or like at the moment there is almost no subsidy for the yeah, I don't want to spend too much time about the government incentive, but basically the bottom line, if the subsidy is no longer there, people will think double or like, because it's not their priority. The impact of sustainable is actually on the operation of the house. I remember if I go home to Surabaya, compared to my house in here, I don't have any air condition in my house, even though I said Brisbane is very hot. But my house is designed with the sustainable principle. So I was really lucky. My house is well designed. But if I went back to Surabaya to visit my family and so forth, almost every time we have to have the aircon on. Otherwise, we won't be able to survive. So that's because the house is not designed for being a sustainable. So if we can make the house design more sustainable, we don't need air conditioning, and that is like will definitely help in terms of for people with low income. They don't have to pay a lot of electricity and additional costs to operate the house. But that's a simple, I know I might not be answering the question, but because the government need to like it happened in Australia because government put a lot of money, which is the taxpayer money, to help that make it happen. And it's a big job if we want to make it happen for everyone. Um, and solar panel is used to be very expensive. Now it's getting cheaper and cheaper. Maybe we just wait a little longer when it's really cheap, and then we can buy, like, using the cheaper technology, and we can invest that into our affordable homes. But I don't know what else we can do if we don't have the funding and the intention, because when it's not affordable, they won't do it. The last question is related to green finance. So what I want to emphasize, my point of view in the green finance is as an accelerator. Again, Budesi, I might not answering your question directly yet, but I just want to straight up my point of view first. That when I mention about the slow adoption of sustainable development, environment especially is like a last thing we want to worry. If economic is not sustainable, as we don't worry about the environment. That's what the position. However, if the bank says I can loan you, but you need to be green, then people will think double in terms of, okay, I'll make my development greener so I can get the green finance. So that's maybe the point of view that I want to actually use for this talk, that it can accelerate the implementation of sustainable development. Now with this big company and the small company, of course, we understand that the requirement for the green finance, as the perception is always to make it green, it required a big budget. Actually, in my current research about sustainable home, the upgrade of the current housing to make more sustainable in Australia, one of the cheap option is put it the insulation, for example. So make our house like it's not warm or hot, and it make a big difference. I remember when my house hasn't got the insulation and change when the temperature, it's like it's become not as hot, and that make a big difference. So when I say aircon, we probably don't have aircon, but we have a ceiling fan. So we can have a ceiling fan to circulate the air, but we don't, like, that is cheaper in terms of running the ceiling fan rather than for the air condition. So for the smaller company, they might be difficult for them to implement the requirement for green finance. That is a big challenge, obviously. But it's again, we can't really use one solution only. As I mentioned in my second, last slide, we need to integrate them. So if we're working we're looking at as something that we can use as a tool to accelerate the implementation of this, rather than looking at that as a separate. So the same thing, if we don't have government to support this, it won't happen. It will happen, but it's really slow. So it's only the big company who can afford will implement, and we left a lot of people behind because they can't afford. I agree completely. So we need integrated sort of solution rather than just rely on people working as a separate entity. But again, we have, at the moment, Indonesia, we know that we have a bigger problems that we need to solve. So sustainable housing, probably the last thing they want to, is not their priority at the moment. So hopefully that give some ideas. And I saw a raise of hand in the Zoom as well. So I will let the moderator to continue if we still have time for question.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Kony, for the excellent answer to all our audience in this room. Prof. Kony, I think if you back again to Indonesia, especially to Surabaya, please come to the Malang City, because in Malang City we don't need also using the air condition switch on, because in Malang is more cool compared to the Surabaya. I think our house in Malang is today is more greeny, compared to the Surabaya, and also maybe in Queensland. Give applause to Prof. Kony for the excellent answer. Thank you very much, Prof. Kony. If Prof. Kony any activity after this, Prof. Kony can leave the Zoom. But if you want to stay, it's okay. Thank you, Prof. Kony. Again, we meet you again, insyaAllah, for the next meeting. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Prof. Kony.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Kony. Okay, now let's continue to the second presenters for this session. I will invite Associate Professor Tutut Hirawan, please come to the stage. And the second one's from Indonesian Infrastructure Guarantee Fund, if I'm not mistaken, will be represented by Bapak Ahmad Zaki Arifin. Please come to the stage, Bapak Arifin. Okay, before our presenter will be present their valuables, I will give the introduction for our speakers. The first is Prof. Tutut Hirawan. He is now Associate Professor at the Department of Information System at University of Malaya. He was a visiting researcher at Parallel and Distributed Computing Research Lab of Deakin University, Australia. He was named in the top 2% world scientists ranking by Stanford University and Elsevier since 2020 and present. Please give applause. Wow, luar biasa nih. Prof. Tutut, this is he received a PhD degree in Information Technology from Malaysia in 2010. He has more than 20 years experiences as academic staff and has supervised many master and PhD students. He has also examined many master and PhD theses from Malaysia, Indonesia, India, and China. He is the managing editor of the Malaysian Journal of Computer Science, associate editor of Springer Nature Computer Science Journal, Scopus Index, also editor of International Journal of Knowledge and System Science. Today, he has published more than 350 articles in various book chapter. Wow, luar biasa ya. 350 article in book chapter, international journal, and conference proceeding. With Scopus Index, you can imagine 36. Ya. Scopus Index 36 ya. Wow. Okay, because of we have limited time for the first presenters, Prof. Tutut, please welcome, deliver your presentation.
Okay.
Nomor 15 or 20, Prof.
Okay. The first information given to me is half an hour. I need to put the turbojet engine to speed up my presentation to get 20 minutes on times finishing my presentations. I hope okay for you. Okay, my name Tutut, call me Tutut. I was born in Jepara, in Central Java, grew in Yogyakarta, study and work in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I still can speak Java as fluently, native Java. I engaged with the Department of IS, FCSIT Institute of Malaya since the 1st January of 2013. Thank you for the moderator for the mukaddimah and introduction about myself. Next, please. I prepared this slide. Firstly, it's about 100 pages, and thanks God, Alhamdulillah, I managed to reduce now is around 73. Yeah, I need to put, as I mentioned earlier, to expedite my presentations. Okay, my talk today, I will divide it into two parts. Number one is about AI. Every day you use AI. Number two is about big data. Every day, whether you realize or you don't realize, you generate a big data. What is the characteristic of big data? And how big data can be brought to modern society, especially in business and economics. Next, please. Okay, part one. What is AI? And do you know that AI is a product of the quantum era? It's not a product of megalithic or stone era. And how the AI is motivated, come from which idea? Is it a really new idea or something modified or modification of the existing idea that brought from the natural phenomena, from the human, animal or plant behavior, bring into the computational intelligence, and now have been widely applied not only in business, economic, in any sector. Number two, the idea of natural intelligence to AI, three explainable AI, and of course, you use generative AI. Yeah, when Dr. Faisal asks you to write a paper, you ask OpenAI, right? Good. Next part. Go to next. Yeah, next. Okay, human intelligence. I tell you one simple analogy. If you bring a scissor or knife, you coincidentally cut your finger. What is your response? Aduh. Meaning that once your finger got injured, your brain will receive a message from your finger and then process the message to respond back. Okay, so the idea of the AI come from the world of natural intelligence. Do you know the nature? Natural intelligence, mental quality that consists of the following. Number one, learn from experience. Learning from experience. The example just now that I shared to you is from the human behavior. Later, I will show you how the behavior of animal can be brought into the concept of computational intelligence. Adapt to new situation. Why? The Charles Darwin said, the most survival individual is not the strongest one. However, the individual who cannot adapt to the current situation. Point three, understand and handle abstract concept, and finally use knowledge to manipulate the environment. Next, please. Go next, Pak. Intelligent. Oh, I am intelligent, nah? What do you know about intelligence? A simple notion to describe the intelligence is the identification of the right knowledge to appropriate instances to taken the decision. Okay, that is the intelligence. Next. Okay, natural intelligence, number one, human. The example, you coincidentally, you cut your finger using a scissor or either scissor or knife. Number two, animal behavior, plant behaviors, human activity, and natural phenomena. Next. Yes, this one I already explained earlier. Next, please. Okay, this one is bird. The next figure, do you know? Bees. Many computer scientists, if you study Cripps mathematics, if you study basic mathematics in elementary school, your teacher tell you about one thing belong or not belong. A set of even number, 1, 3, 5, a set of odd number, 2, 4, 6, a set of people in this room, either male or female. Right? Any of you a she, he, or lady, boy? No. Agree. Okay, this one. How to make, do you know ants? what is it, semut in bahasa, how to make ant colony, how to gather ants, how put sugar, and will come. Ada gula, correct. And how to make a bee colony. Sugar, no. And comes to sugar. Bee, flower, no. Honey, I love you honey or what? Bee produce honey. Do you agree with me? And how to make a bee colony? Queen, yes. Oh, you come to understand now. How to make a bee colony. And computer scientists start to adopt human and animal behavior into computational intelligence, including ant and bee colony, bird, and next part. Human behavior. If you study Cripps mathematics, yes or no. If you push your keyboard in your computer, yes or no. If you study about fuzzy mathematics, do you have a washing machine at home or not? Instead of on and off, you can adjust the wool quality. The fabric quality. Wool, jeans, cotton, either or. And how to define human reasoning to the concept of computer intelligence. Until today, still, none of computer scientists can do that. Okay, Tutut is masculine. Tutut Herawan. My colleagues in Jakarta, Tutut Herawati, feminine. And how to define? How percent you are masculine, how many percent in feminine? Next, Pak. This from the behavior of the plants or cross-pollinations. Next. Yes. You study about the gravity introduced by whom? Sir Isaac Newton. And the new theory of relativity? Albert Einstein. Okay, next. Now, how to develop the AI from the concept of natural intelligence? Next, please. See this figure. Okay, from the human reasoning, computer scientists start to transform the human reasoning into a computer code. So AI is the effort to introduce intelligence in machines. Okay, next. Including Alan Turing. If you know, during the first or second World War, I think a Nazi soldier cannot broke the code of the encrypted code sent by the soldier. Alan Turing developed a machine. The name is Enigma. You can open to Wikipedia to check. The first computer scientist that successfully broke the code into decrypted code to get the original message. Let's say you send an encrypted message from you to your boyfriends to make sure other cannot read the original message. Alan Turing can see your original message. So be careful with this guy. John von Neumann, Norbert Wiener, and so on. Next part. John McCarthy coined what is called AI. And formally, AI can be defined. Next. As I promised to you, I need to speed up this one. AI is the simulation of natural intelligence of a machine, so as to make the machine efficient, to identify and use the right piece of knowledge at a given step of a solving problem. So this one, Pak Tutut, you say the definition is this one. So AI is still human predefined request. I say yes. Human need to control. That's why sometimes I didn't agree that AI will replace human. AI is a complementary to human. Next part. XAI, explainable, and open AI. Next. What is AI? The categories. Number one, traditional AI. The first proposal. Guys, you don't even need to write and take a picture of this material. I don't have to examination. Okay, you can take a copy from him, free for you. Okay, generative AI, yeah, GAI, AGI, artificial general intelligence, and the most latest one is explainable AI. Next. I skip this one because you can read later the description about each category. Next part. Case studies. I give you some sample case studies from my lab at the University of Malaya, number 1. Next. Okay. About smart city. The previous 2 keynote speakers mentioned about the smart city. So in the traffic light, Jalan Veteran, you can put a sensor there. Yeah, you can put a sensor there, and then the sensor use the RFID, radio frequency identification, put in the parking lot inside the Universitas Brawijaya. So before you entering the Jalan Veteran, you already know in which parking lot available. You don't need to round this area to find the parking. One of the example. In smart farming also, smart tourism, and many applications. Okay, we developed this one in my lab in smart tourism to detect fruits already for harvesting or not. Next. Next part. AI generated PC cases could give a human designer stiff competitions. The example, do you know this one? Computer case. What is it in Indonesia? You call it? Yes. No, not the PC, the case. What casing? Yeah, case. This one. Next. Okay. Yes, you can try now if you don't trust to me. ChatGPT as a free chatbot. OpenAI is a new company. Until now, many decacon company receive billion due to the existence of OpenAI with the very well-known product ChatGPT. Unfortunately, OpenAI still burning money. Until now, still burning money. Until when the company will achieve BEP, do not know. Larry Ellison with Oracle received billion because of ChatGPT. I'm not sure you be. You can ask Dr. Faisal because I believe many of you open ChatGPT when you do last minute assignment and paper. I asked ChatGPT how to build a PC. It told me to break my CPU. Try. Okay, next part. Okay, this one XAI. Next, please, because time 11 minutes. Next, please. I will jump into the big data. This I highlight the opportunities on exploring AI in the business sector. Next, please. Yes, number 1, IT for business sustainability, global digitalization of monetary transaction, and generative AI. Please, you can explore. Next. Okay, big data. Why? If you see the program in the 4th edition of BEFIC, data science, why my talk today is big data. Big data is part of data science. Why big data? Because big is beautiful. If you big, you are beautiful. You don't worry, I tell you. That is the truth. Scientifically proven. Big data. Why? Every day you generate a big data. Through many activities. You go for entertainment. You watch movie. You go to e-commerce. ATM, card credit transactions, and many. Next part. You know him? You have KTP or not? So, I know you know him. Okay. Our former president said that data is the nation's new type of wealth. 2 decades ago, the biggest company in this country controlled by oil and gas company. What happened today? No. A stable man said that harta tahta wanita. One more, data. Why does President Jokowi say data is more valuable than oil? Because today, you open Forbes, get the list of top 20 richest people in the world. 10 of 20 out of 20 IT company. Oracle, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. Next, Pak. Okay, now people start to mine, next please, data, and data. See? If you don't have package data, what happened? It's like walking in the darkness. You don't know everything. Your boyfriend called you, what happened to you? Are you run away from me? Or what? Next. Okay, this one is still similar to the previous one, the context. Next, please. Next. Okay, data, big data has become a pervasive phrase and a big issue in all aspects, including in science, business, tourism, healthcare, media, government, social network, national security, government, education, and many, many more. Next. Okay, as you can see from conventional and new model, if you scrap data from Twitter, how large, how big the data, the size is not only in giga, in mega of giga, the size can be very, very huge. For instance, Donald Trump today tweets about the issue of oil price. What happened next week? Maybe the data is no longer valid. Whether you want to miss the data or you want to keep. What happened if the data is very huge? Even your personal computer is not affordable to save the data. The conventional model, you study statistics. Statistic method is the best way to answer about the population using a sample. And new model, all of us are generating data and all of us are consuming data. Okay, next. Back, Pak. My question, do you have a social media account or not? How many? I don't believe if you mentioned two. Two mean peace, man. I don't believe to you. I don't have any social media data. Yeah, only WhatsApp. My boss called me before presenting. I close my phone. Yeah. Please don't disturb me. I am in Malang. Later I will call you back. Facebook I don't have. You can try find my name in Facebook. If you find my name 100%, that is a fake account. Yeah. Do you know why? Many family broke due to the activity in social media. You must understand. Yeah. Okay. Next. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I don't have. What for? They do not make me rich. I spend a lot of time for the social media, so I don't have. The only communication I use email, either email or WhatsApp. Yeah, but okay lah for you. Okay, next part. Okay, what is a big data? Many people talk about the big data. They don't really understand the basic concept of big data. Big data can be characterized from 4 V's. Number 1 is volume. Terabytes, petabytes. Very big. Number 2 is velocity. The data is not dynamic. The data is not static, but dynamic. Every millisecond now, the data changing. It's like a stream data. Number 3, variety. The data is heterogeneous. Not only text data, but mixed. If you open a social media, the text data can be mixed with the multimedia data. Video, audio, and other types of data. And number 4, veracity. Any of you with the name Vera? What does it mean? Veracity in big data, uncertainty. If your name Vera, you always uncertain. Based on this definition. Okay, next. And today, the concept of big data expanded into 7 V's. The additional definition is the velocity, variability, and visualization. Why visualization? Before we report, after we analyze the data, sometimes the top management, the vice chancellor, rector, dean, manager, sub-manager, our boss, can you please to visualize your result? Many tools exist to visualize the data. One of the most popular is Power BI. Next part. How much data are there in the world? You can see here, exponentially increase. Next. Next, please. Yes, this one, big data market size revenue forecast worldwide from 2011 to 2027. Linearly increase. Next. Okay, every millisecond today, the same amount, about 5 billion gigabytes was created. Next. Next, please. Next part. Okay. Belong to which one your activities to generate big data? Are you watching movie or not? Use your ATM? A credit card? Shopping online? Just now I hear Shopee. Banking, social media, yes. Entertainment, online purchasing, gaming also. So every day, you generate the big data. Next. And if we go to hospital, the general practitioner, the doctor, put a sensor to provide the patient information, monitoring, every second monitoring, also contribute to the big data. Musical instrument, sensor technology in farming, in many places. Bank also, scientific instrument also. Next. Next part. Still how many minutes? 1 minute. Okay. Okay. What are the goals of analyzing big data? Number one, to develop effective methods that can accurately predict the future observation, including decision making and predictions. Number two, to gain insight into relationship between the features and response, and two, exploring the hidden structure. And the last one, to extract important common features. Okay, next. The opportunities of big data created. Next, I will jump to this one for the business. I already explained. Next. Next, please. Okay, next. Yes. Okay, the challenges about the big data. If you have very huge data and your supervisor, Dr. Faisal, asks you to analyze the data, which tool you use? Microsoft Excel or Python? Or what? I use Microsoft Excel. Your data is very big. It's not possible. Your memory is not enough to run the data, to run the programming and process the data. And what I know, 95%, the existing data mining methods are failed to handle big data. And how to use it? We use tools existing in the big data. There are so many. One of the most popular is cloud computing. This is the first time you hear about the cloud computing. Do you know Bank Mandiri? Yeah, Bank Mandiri. Bank Mandiri, let's say, branch in Universitas Brawijaya, the Bank Mandiri save you all data. If something happen, flood, banjir, fire, kebakaran, if they didn't replicate or copy all the data in Bank Mandiri UB into another branch, what happened? Suddenly, if you're saving only 1 million, can become 10 million. The concept of the replicated data from one branch to another branch to preserve all the information that sometimes due to the computational power in one branch is not working properly, electricity down, can call from another branch for the transaction process. Next. Okay, this is the reality, expectation versus reality. We expect to analyze data with very powerful tools. Unfortunately, when we give the data, the tool give up. Massive sample size, very big. Yeah. Next. Okay, next. Okay, next part. Skip this one because, yeah. Data is streamed dynamic. The data is not static. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. The data often noisy and untrustworthy. This morning, one of the professors, the third keynote speaker, I still remember one of the questions from the audience regarding how to preserve the blockchain. He provided an answer: security and trustworthy. 1 in 3 business leaders do not trust the information they use to make decisions. It is scientifically proven. Yeah. Number 2, existing information, the big data is always telling us the truth is actually far from facts. It's far from the facta. We have to deal with erroneous data. Computer system can have bugs, virus inside your computer. When the data quality is poor, answer to our queries might be inaccurate, low accuracy, or even totally incorrect. The challenge is how do we get the past inaccurate analysis due to bad data or data integrity issues, and how to save the past data. Microsoft, do you know? Google, do you know? The data is billion, and many of scientists predict that a tsunami will happen to the internet because due to the explosion of the data. Okay, do you know the data center of Google or Microsoft where? In Pandaan? No. Where? In Singapore, no. In Finland. Do you know the cooler, air conditioner? No. Ice? No. Put water sea. Yeah. Okay, next. Next, high dimensionality. As I mentioned, if you study in business, normally the data about the student is 2-dimensional data. Name, address, CGPA, phone number, parent information. But if you study high-dimensional data, data inventory, sometimes cannot be represented into 2-dimensional, but in n-dimensional. Need this one also. Big data can be used to solve that. Next, Pak. I think it's up already. Give me another 5 minutes, ya. Boleh, Pak? Can. Next. Next, please. Next. The existing technologies in big data. Next. Okay, this is the concept in social network to preserve the sensitivity. But Ferry is my friend. Faisal is friend of Ferry. But Faisal is not my friend. You get I mean? Can you follow? Hello? Ferry is my friend. Faisal is not my friend. But Faisal is friend of Ferry. Can Faisal see me via Ferry? You say you have 5 Facebook. You cannot answer my question now. Ferry is my friend. You understand? You can follow. Can you follow? Faisal is friend of Ferry. But he is not my friend. Can Faisal see me via Ferry? Yes, the answer. Ferry is my enemy. Faisal is friend of Ferry. Can Faisal see me? Cannot lah. Ferry is my enemy. How can Faisal see me? Are you sleepy, guys? Oh, after lunch, I got sleepy. Ferry is my friend. Faisal is enemy of Ferry. Can Faisal see me? Cannot. Faisal is my enemy. Ferry is my enemy. Can Faisal attack me? Can. Yeah, social media is very simple to preserve the content and the identity and the security. Positive and positive, positive. Negative and negative, positive. Either positive or negative, negative. Elementary mathematics. Oh, if I know I will propose her, I will richer than Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, not lah. Idea is proposed already. Next, Pak. Go to last, Pak. Last. Ya lah, belum ini. Balik lagi. Before this. Yes. Yeah, before. Okay. Before this. Go back. Okay. Big data analytics in economic and business. I have highlight here the key steps. capturing big data. How to capture the data? Scraping the data. If the data really noisy, so many outlier, the data and mix, how to handle the pre-processing, visualizing the big data, structuring a big data. Next, because the big data is very unstructured, and how to structure unstructured data. How to make a crazy man become a normal man. One of the example in traveling also, yeah, because after the pandemic COVID-19 is tourism and hospitality sector now becomes wake up from the quite long sleeping. Next part. Next please, I have a takeaway message, pesan untuk dibawa pulang. Okay, number one, big data is one of the most popular and most frequently used term to describe exponential growth and availability of data in the modern era. Big data, big business data, use innovative method as advantageous. Number one, reliable. Of course, new information flow because the data is very dynamic. Stream data. The last one is real time. Keep on changing. Okay? And nowcasting. Why not forecasting? Nowcasting. Every millisecond. Next. If you have any question, write me an email. My name is the most sexiest email in the UM. You can read from the first and the back. Invertible. T-U-T-U-T. Read your name. What happened? Kerangalam. I bought the t-shirt. Kerangalam. Arek Malang. Read my name. At um.edu. I will provide an answer for you. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, give applause to Prof. Tutut ya. Okay, very interactive presentation, Prof. Tutut. Before you give the question to Prof. Tutut, we will give the next presenter first ya. After the next presenter give the presentation, we open the question and answer ya. Okay, the next presenter is Bapak Ahmad Zaki Arifin, MBAS ya. I will introduce Bapak Ahmad Zaki first ya. Bapak Ahmad Zaki is a finance and infrastructure professional with over 20 years of experience in banking and public-private partnership project. He currently serves as division head of guarantee underwriting at the Indonesia Infrastructure Guarantee Funds. Following his role as a vice president of business development. Previously, he held senior position at PT BNI, where he specialized in corporate banking, risk management, and international operation. Pak Zaki, a master business from Queensland University, same with Bukoni ya, one university ya, Queensland University of Technology Australia, and professional certification in risk management infrastructure, business case, and corporate directorship reinforcing his expertise in infrastructure, finance, and project development Please welcome Bapak Ahmad Zaki, your times.
Thank you. Okay, because I'm still younger than Pak Tutut, so I'm standing here. Okay, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for it's great honor for me to represent IGF or Indonesian Infrastructure Guarantee Fund. Or in Indonesia, it's called PT PII, PT Penjaminan Infrastruktur Indonesia. Okay, okay, next slide. Okay, next. I'm starting my presentation with the role of the government guarantee. So maybe it's new thing for everyone, so I try to explain a little bit about the role of the guarantee fund and how it impact to the infrastructure. Okay, next. So if you can see that according to ADB and PwC in 2023 and 2024, so the ASEAN face significant annual infrastructure financing gap. So the budget for the infrastructure in Asia, it's still need the private sector to invest their money to the infrastructure. So you can see that only 37% that government can cover their budget for the infrastructure. So there are 63% that's they need to attract a private investor to invest their money. Why? It is because the infrastructure, the public infrastructure is very complicated and it takes a long-term contract for the infrastructure. So on the other side, the investor perceive that there are many risks if they would like to develop the infrastructure. So, for example, the political risk is the top high risk for the investor if they would like to come to invest their money to infrastructure. And the second one is bankability and commercial viability of project. So there are many risks that investor, if they would like to invest their money. So how to government to attract them to invest their money? So in the next slide please. So before I answer this question, I would like to show in Indonesia. So Indonesia faced the same condition. If we see that in the previous regime in 2020 until 2024, the Indonesia need budget requirement more than 6,000 trillion rupiah. So we can imagine that. So the government only have the 37% from their state or regional budget. And the other, they need to state or regional on enterprise to put their money into the infrastructure project. And then the government need the private sector. So in the next regime, in this era, we can see that the budget requirement increased almost double into 10,000 trillion rupiah. So we can see that in the state budget and the state or regional on enterprise is still increased. And the private needs 3,000 trillion rupiah to invest their money to fulfill the gap. Okay. So in here we can say that the government, not only in Indonesia, maybe in Asia and some developing country, they need to attract the investor, the private sector, to put their money into investment into infrastructure project. So how the government can structure the project, how they can identify the risk that can be the most critical issue for the private sector. So without the clear risk allocation mechanism, the private sector tend to withdraw or they will demand high return for their interest. Okay, next slide. So if you can see that the infrastructure financing is still risky for the investor. So if we try to identify what kind of the risk arising from the project infrastructure, such as political risk and construction risk, demand risk, government risk, political risk, and macroeconomic risk. So we have to identify what kind of risk can be transferred from the government into the private sector, and what kind of risk that still remain in the government side. So we call it in the PPP scheme, it's allocation risk. What kind of risk we can transfer from the government into the private sector. So for example, the construction risk. The construction risk, if we, based on the principle of the allocation risk, there are three principles of the allocation risk. Who's the best party can manage the potential risk. The second one, who's the best party can manage and manage the risk and manage the impact. The third one, who is the best party able to manage the risk and inefficient. So if we can see that the first construction, for example, it's commonly government will transfer the construction risk into the private sector because the private sector more able. And for the number three, the government payment risk and the political and regulation risk, commonly it still remain in government side. The second one and the fifth the demand risk and macroeconomy risks commonly it can be shared between the government and public sector. So it is very important for the public infrastructure. They can define what kind of risk and then how to mitigate it. And then is there any de-risking instrument to the investor to transfer their risk? For example, in the government support, there are one kind of instrument. It's called a government guarantee, which is it can be the risking for the investor to transfer their risk. So the role of the government is very important for the mitigating non-commercial risk, which is the risk still remain in the government side, and then the government guarantee it can be lowering the cost of the capital by reducing risk premium and improving the project bankability and maintaining the sustainability of the project. Okay, next. Okay, this is the strategic law of the government guarantee. So if you can see that the government guarantee have the balance between the fiscal risk, because if the government do not have money right now, their budgets is not enough to develop all the infrastructure, so they can keep the instrument, the government guarantee, as a sweetener for the investor. But if it can be managed properly, it can be the high risk for the next government. So they have to balance between fiscal sustainability, market needs. It means that market needs is the investor, how to attract the investor, and the lenders. Because for the infrastructure, the investor commonly only put their money around 20 to 30% for their equity. The remainder, they will borrow from the lenders or from the financial institution. So the project, the infrastructure project, not only have to feasible, but it have to be bankable. Bankable it means that it can be attract for the lenders to input their money to the project. And the third one, the government guarantee can be a catalyst for economic and social growth, because the infrastructure, as we know, that contributes significantly to long-term economic growth and reduction for the social inequality. Okay, next one. Okay, I will explain a little bit about the IGF, or Indonesian Infrastructure Guarantee Fund. Okay, next slide. Okay. Oh. So the slide, they changed the font. So it's okay. IGF or PTPI, PT Penjaminan Infrastruktur Indonesia, is SOE. SOE under the Ministry of Finance. We are the special vehicle to accelerate the infrastructure development in Indonesia. So we have a mandate from the government to the Ministry of Finance. We have a mandate. The first mandate is government guarantee. We can guarantee for the PPP scheme, national strategic project, and then SOE credit guarantee, and the credit guarantee for national economic recovery, or we call it PEN. And other mandates, we have a mandate to guarantee the renewable energy, EBT. This is the regulation, but we still develop this scheme. And other mandates, we have a project development facility from Ministry of Finance. This is the mandate that we can provide the project preparation and transaction advisory to the GCA. GCA is the owner of the project, or government contractor agency. And the other, we have the Research and Capacity Institute. In IGF, we have an institute. It's called IGF Institute. Okay, next one. So, IGF mandates is in the bankability and credit enhancement. We have some part that in the guarantee feature, we are a sovereign guarantee. Our guarantee is a sovereign. It's same with the guarantee from the government, from the Ministry of Finance. So we have a PDF facility, or we can, as a project assistant, we proactively providing assistance to the project from the early staging until the monitoring. And we do the project feasibility evaluation and project monitoring. And our guarantee advantage, our project credibility, we enhance the project credibility to be more bankable. And then we process is transparent. So we ensure the process accountability and responsibility. And the last one, for our guarantee purpose, in our guarantee, it can enhance the bankability of the project. So it can reduce the cost of fund and reduce the project total cost, and could be better value for the money. Okay. Next. Okay. If at the first presenter, Bu Koni talk about the ESG. So in IGF, actually we already implemented ESG in our process. So we use the Environmental and Social Management Framework, or ESMF. It is a set of policy, procedure, and tool to manage environmental and social aspects. We use it and we implemented it. So we put into the 8 environmental and social principle, and we embedded the ESG process into our business process. From the first staging, when we start to screen the project, we analyze the fatal flow, and then we appraise our project, and then we make a risk mitigation plan until we monitoring. We already embedded the ESG in our business process. I will show you some case in our project for the ESG and for the economic impact. Okay, next one. Next. Okay. Until, back please. Okay. So, until April or until July, we already guarantee for 54 projects throughout Indonesia. So, the total projects value is 553 trillion. So it's a huge investment. And for the PPP project, we already guarantee for 36 PPP project. Okay, next. Okay, this is the economic impact and an ESG implemented. So infrastructure project that have been guaranteed from PAI and it already operate. In July 2023, there are 6 sectors that we already try to calculate the economic impact. The first one is toll and non-toll road. Non-toll road, there are 16 toll roads and 10 national roads, including the 37 bridge. Those projects already granted by IGF, and economic impact, it value for the sector toll 319 trillion. And for the non-toll is 8.1 trillion, and for the bridge, it impact to 28 trillion rupiah. And for the ESG, can see that the ESG, we already put the SDG here as the contribution. There are 5 principal SDG for the toll and non-toll roads. For the telecommunication sector, it is for the palaparing sector or multifunction satellites. The impact, the economy impact, it increased 28 trillion rupiah. And for the drinking water, for a 6 pump project, and it create the economic value for 19 trillion rupiah. And for the transportation, it is for the Makassar Parepare train and proving ground in Bekasi. It creates the 48 trillion rupiah, and energy conservation. It is for the street lighting. It creates 0.7 trillion or 700 billion. And the Mandalika development, it creates the 8 trillion rupiah. So all the project, we already try to calculate the economic value, and we try to what kind of principle in SDG can be contribute in this project. Okay, so our guarantee is not only enhance the bankability and the feasibility for the project, but we also try to calculate, and we saw that the economic impact from the every single of the project already operate. We try to calculate it and to show that it already feasible for the economic side. And next slide. As I said in the previous discussion, that we have the institute in IGF. We call it IGF Institute. So in institute, we have some mandate that we have to do that. For example, the first mandate is education. When we do training provider for the PPP certification or for the e-learning, and we do some research here for we have a pool of experts to do research, and we already applied and policy research, and we do the social economic impact. And for the advocacy, we do this dissemination activity and conference and seminar also. And for the outreach, we already have the community of practice, we have the PPP Smart Hub and the others, and including the UNIID. So this is what our institute do until now. And the next slide, I would like to tell about what kind of UNIID. UNIID is the University Network for Indonesia Infrastructure Development. So it is established in 2015. And currently, since last year, Brawijaya University is as the coordinator of the UNIID. So IGF very happy to collaborate with Brawijaya. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Less than 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Ahmad Zaki. Please give applause to Bapak Ahmad Zaki. Now let's continue to question and answer. Yeah, we have still any time, yeah, but no more than 10 minutes, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I give the opportunity to audience to give a question. Yeah, 3 or 4 maximum question. Please raise hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's okay, 5, yeah, because there are only 5. I give 5. Yeah. Please introduce your name and question directed to which presenter, yeah.
That's okay. First of all, thank you. First of all, my name is Felicia and I'm from Economics, Finance and Banking Study Program. So my question is for Pak Ahmad from PII. So my question is, Infrastructure is often seen as a driver of growth and inequality reduction in Indonesia. Do large-scale projects truly help reduce regional disparities in a sustainable and socially responsible way, or do they mainly benefit for Java? And how effective has PT Penjaminan Infrastruktur Indonesia been in using guarantees to attract private investment in other regions while supporting equitable development and ESG goals? I think that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, next to the second question.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. First, my name is Bonanza. I am economic development student, and I wanna give question for Mr. Ahmad from BTPI. I will have two questions. First, I'm still a little bit confused. Where is the position of BTPI? Is it the mediator between government and private sector to realization Indonesian development program, or how? And my second question is, I'm very interested about Indonesian political risk, yeah, because that can be such a threat for our development. And is there any example that can be learned from another country with similar political condition to, how do we say, to evaluate our political sector to make our development better like that? Thank you.
Okay, next to the third question. Who raised hand? Yeah, Ibu. Okay, this one.
Thank you, Prof. Tutut, for the nice presentations, and Pak Ahmad from PT IIGF. My first presentations for Prof. Tutut related to, as economists, we always deal with the data, which is various data with unbalanced and unstructured data. To what extent can big data sources mitigate the potential bias produced by these issues, unbalanced and unstructured data, especially for growth and development studies? And the second question for Pak Ahmad, because this is related to my topic in terms of the impact of public-private partnership for economic growth. I would like to know about the economic impacts of PPP, how you measure the impacts of PPP projects within the different sectors. Because I think there is a project success indicators from some references. I found it that it's not easy for us to measure or to have what is like parameters to measure the project success of the PPP's project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Since we have 5 questions from 3 people, so we stop the next question, yeah, because we have a limited time, yeah. Okay, back to our presenter, maybe Pak Tutut, yeah, because Pak Tutut only have 1 question, yeah.
Okay, your name, ma'am? Your name, please. Okay, Madam Ariana from Brawijaya. Okay. Very tough questions. Thank you very much. The nature of the data sometimes not fit with our purpose or our adopted algorithms due to noisy, imbalanced data, and then the second one you mentioned, unstructured data. The data produced by big data normally imbalanced and unstructured data, and how to deal with such kind of data during the pre-processing. There are many tools. Because imbalanced data, if we use the existing algorithm to directly process the such kind of data, will lead to inaccurate or maybe low accuracy decisions. Comparing if we treat the data during the pre-processing. There are many methods, madam, for handling imbalanced data. Imbalanced data. If I explain to you, it's quite technical. Send me an email. I will provide you the best answer to handle the imbalanced data. Regarding unstructured data, yes, because the data is mixed, heterogeneous. The data is not homogeneous. Text mixed with the multimedia, video, audio. There are many methods we can do to handle such kind of data. One of the most popular method is data decomposition. So we decompose the data to make it into many partitions which are homogeneously. We decompose text data, we decompose the multimedia, we decompose the video, we decompose the audio, and we use like a music concert ensemble methods. So we adopt, let's say, 5 methods and assign one by one respectively. Finally, we merge the result. One of the most popular is ensemble methods. What kind of methods can be used to handle such kind of different? For text mining, different. Opinion mining, different. Sentiment analysis, also different. To handle the multimedia data, to convert the such kind of data into text, also different. So ensemble method exists to handle unstructured data. Yeah, I hope to answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Tutut. If you still have any question, don't forget to TUTUT, yeah, at umedu.my. Yeah. Okay, now continue to Pak Ahmad Zaki.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Thank you for the question. It's a good question. The first question comes from Ms. Sulisai. Okay, the question is our guarantee in Java, yeah, on Java. So actually, we have some project that are already guaranteed not only in Java but throughout Indonesia. Maybe most of them maybe in Java, but we have a project that have been guaranteed in the Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. So for the ESG, actually, how is it is effective to implement the ESG, right? So actually, we try to combine between the ESG platform in the bank. So if you know that the banks in Indonesia already implemented the ESG in their process. So in our process, we try to benchmark and we try to implement their ESG platform in the banks that's already as a common practice in the bank. So we benchmark and we implement their platform into our business process. So as I said in our slide, that we try to embed it our process, the ESG process in our process, in government process from the first staging until the evaluation and the monitoring. So how is effective? Is still effective the ESG in our guarantee? And when we try to evaluate and we try to identify what kind of ESG that can be implemented in the project, and then we evaluate, is it common practice, and then we try to monitoring after the project contract already signed and they construct the project and the project already operate. So IGF still to try to monitoring. Is it the ESG still the same with the same staging in the monitoring? For example, after they finish the construction and they operate the project, so is it the ESG still embedded in the project or no? We still monitoring it, so we know that the project still sustained. Because if this is the the infrastructure project. For example, toll road project. Toll project is the location is from one regional to the other region. So it really takes the social and environmental issue in there. So when we evaluate the ESG in there, and then when they construct the project and one day they operate the project, is it there is an issue in there, or they already implemented the ESG mitigation in there? So when the critical issue is when we try to make the evaluation for the ESG and then we make the mitigation plan. The mitigation plan is really critical issue because when the project already construct and the project already operate, we have to monitor it. It's still the same. It's the same with the first planning, or they already changed the plan because it's very critical for the government between the regional government or the central government. Okay. I hope I can answer this question. And the second question, the position of IGF as a mediator between government or private sector. So actually, our mandate is a guarantor. As guarantor, the main mandate is guarantor. So when the project need guarantee from the government, so our mandate is to guarantee this project. That's it. But we have another mandate from the government to the Ministry of Finance that we have to assist the GCA. The GCA is mean the project owner. For example, the Ministry of Public Work, or for example, the Madiun region. So we assist them before the project already ready to be signing, but we have to prepare first. We assist them to prepare for example, the feasibility study. We assist them how to make the good project structure, because the project structure, as I said that before, not only feasible, but it has to be bankable. Okay. So when it's common in Indonesian government, especially in regional. So they try to make infrastructure project, and they would like to offer to the investor, but investor doesn't attract with the project. Why? Because they try to structure in government view, not in the investor view, in investor perspective. So in the investor perspective, there has two kind of the project, from the feasibility and from the bankability. The feasibility is from the investor perspective, because they have to invest, is it feasible or no? But because of most of their finance come from the lenders, so we have to think that, but the lenders' perspective as well, because their money, most of them is 7 to the 80% comes from the lenders. So the project has to be bankable. So that's why there is a facility from the government. It's named as PDF, Project Development Facility, that government can assist the project owner or the GCA to prepare their project from how to decide what kind of project they would like to offer, and then how to structure it and make it in the good document, in the feasibility study and the bidding document, and then IGF will assist until the signing process. And after the signing process, we still assist them how to monitor the project until the concession. So that's we are not only not mediator, but we assist the GCA. Okay. So we help them to not only assist for the prepare the documents, the feasibility study, but sometimes we assist them to introduce their project into the lender side. So in the market sounding, we try to invite the banks or the international institution come to the Indonesia or come to their project to introduce the project. That's our mandate, not mediator, but we assist them for it. Okay. And for the political risk, I would like to explain a little bit. Political risk is very critical issue in developing country, as in Indonesia, because as you know that, especially in the region project. In the region project, as we know that the public infrastructure, commonly the contract is a long term, more than 10 years. Can you imagine that the private sector come to invest their money for the more than 10 years? So they have to face the maybe two times of the region food. So if the current, for example, the current region, they will decide or they will signing the project. So in the next 5 years, what happened? So if the region is changed with another region, so or the president or the ministry, so if they feel that they decide to, I want to stop this project, so this political risk. How to when government decide to terminate the project, so the investor will face the risk. So that's the one of our coverage of the guarantee. We can coverage the political risk, especially in financial obligation. For example, if there is a project, we say that maybe water system project, water, or the toll road, for example, toll road project. So the toll project is huge investment. It's very huge investment because they need more than 10 trillion rupiah, for example. So the contract is more than 30 years. Can you imagine? 30 years for the toll road. So
I'm sorry, but we only have 1 minute left for the session.
Okay, sorry, because the question is very complicated to explain. So, for example, the toll road, they have a contract for 30 years. So the investor face the political risk there. How they can the project can be terminated in 10 or 15 years. So they need the we call it the risking instrument. The risking instrument is one of the government support is guarantee government guarantee. Okay, and I think I can answer the question. And the last one, please. Last one's Bu Haria. Ya? Okay, I would like to answer, but the impact, PPP economic growth. So how to measure? So actually, we already calculate with our consultant. We use the University of Indonesia and Undip. Oh no, Undip, Unpad, sorry, Pajajaran University. Some project we calculate with the input and output approach methods. So because of time, I can maybe after this we can discuss in detail. So we in some sector and some project we already calculated it, and maybe we can discuss after this. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Pak Zaki. Because of the limitation of the time, so we need to finish our discussion today. Please give applause again to our presenters today. And don't worry, for the people that still any question, you can contact the committee, and the committee will help you to send the question to our presenters today. Thanks to our presenter, Pak Prof. Tutut dan juga Bapak Ahmad Zaki for the valuable discussion and presentation. And we back to the MC. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, our moderator and our speakers this afternoon. Bapak, you may step down from the stage. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an insightful today it has been. And for those who have raised questions, you may take your souvenir in the registration table. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to sincerely thank all of you, our distinguished speakers, for their valuable contributions, and of course, to all of our participants who came to the first day of BEFIC 2025. So we would like once again to extend our heartfelt thank you for your active engagement throughout this session. Ladies and gentlemen, that also concludes the day one of BEFIC 2025, but don't worry, our journey doesn't end here, and tomorrow we will have the second day of BEFIC 2025, and we'll still have the parallel sessions and also the announcement of awards and of course the closing ceremony. So we hope you